There's a lot to look forward to in version 1.4. With the community's appetite for teasers at its peak following the hype of the version's drip marketing, Kuro dropped one of the first official videos for the update. And let's just say that this one was a bit of a banger. There's a lot going on in this trailer, with obvious references to the return of a highly anticipated game mode, fourth wall breaks, and a personal conversation with Camellya herself, and perhaps most importantly of all, a version splash art featuring not one, not two, but 6 characters across the roster. With this one teaser, Kuro's confirmed another characteristic in how they do business. They listen to their customers, and pretty much every single part of this trailer, from its dialogue to its visual design, is built from the rounds of feedback and critiques we've seen for the game across version 1.3. Many lamented the absence of the Illusive realm, one of the most engaging and creative game modes we've experienced, and that's because the chefs were taking their time in the kitchen. There's a lot that Kuro took into account from player feedback when they designed this upcoming version, and today we'll be taking the time to break down this magnificent trailer to highlight what that feedback was and how Kuro listened so incredibly well. This company takes the praises and the complaints of its player base very seriously, and this game is only going to get better and better with time. As always, if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. This teaser opens up with a wide panning shot of a random Kuro employee waking up in their bedroom, and they start their day in the best way possible: a glass of stale water and a round of Wuthering Waves. The only thing is, the login screen is noticeably different, with a few more cats than we're accustomed to. While those who started in version 1.3 might have no idea why there are 4 animals here instead of just 2, more tenured players will likely make the connection that these new additions are the highlights of the Illusive Realm game mode, the NPCs who give us all of the powerful upgrades that make its combat experience shine. This alone tells us quite a few things. First is that there was a reason why the Illusive Realm was absent for the entirety of version 1.3, despite being one of the most well-received and highly requested game modes by players. We felt the absence of its highly creative power-ups, insane modifications to character kits and playstyles, and perhaps most importantly of all, its unique story implications and connections to the underlying game lore. The reason for this absence was so that Kuro could expand the experience even more and turn it into the main focus of the entire patch. Another thing this login screen tells us is that the Illusive Realm and all of our previous experiences will likely play a significant role in the upcoming story, and there will probably be some replayability of the past Illusive Realms featuring Scar and Dreamless to give new or returning players more context on what is going on. One of the biggest critiques of any time-limited story content is what happens when it expires, like what we've seen in a lot of other live service gacha games, as it can quickly become impossible to piece together the lore without the aid of third-party websites and recordings, and increasing that accessibility is just another way for Kuro to streamline and improve the player experience. And that's just what we're able to draw from the opening login screen. Further along in the teaser, we get a first-person view of the Illusive Realm train's interior and some of the most ominous voice lines possible from a wide variety of characters, namely every single one we see featured on the version splash art. We promise, we deliver, that's Lumi. Something feels wrong, that's Yinlin. All that stuff about being Cosmos' friend, you know who that is. The person with doubts about their leadership, that's Camellya. The artist worried about self-plagiarization, that's Jeja. The person who seems to know the most about the situation, Chong-Li. What all of these teasers are indicating is that we're going on a significant deep dive into the psyche and probably mental baggage of a lot of different characters on the roster, all through the concept of dreams in the Illusive Realm. We had a surface-level implementation of this across the most recent iteration of the game mode, when acquiring Concerto Companions, as we quickly explored the dreams of many standard and 4-star characters, but this felt like a small part of the update. With all of the voiced characters in this teaser prominently featured on the version splash art, we can easily imagine that the story implementation here is going to be a lot more in-depth, a lot more emotional, and perhaps most importantly of all, more focused on the personal struggles of characters rather than their connection to Rover, which has been one of the biggest complaints in the storytelling in the game since its release. There are a lot of people on pretty much every form of social media imaginable who think that that there's just a bit too much MC glazing, and these deep dives into doubts are hinting at directly addressing that feedback with a different type of storytelling altogether. And the last ominous line in this section of the trailer that talks about erasing a person's dreams or memories, Rover might just be an observer for these character stories rather than an active participant, and that just means the storytelling is getting more and more varied. The last piece of the trailer is easily the one that captured the most player attention, and that's Camellya's takeover of the entire phone screen. While most won't be able to look past the torrent of spicy innuendos and Camellya's abundance of whatever these are supposed to be, Kuro's given a lot more depth to Camellya as a character. It's becoming more and more clear that her obsession with Rover and their is driven by more than some unhealthy obsession or love. It's more so driven by her desire for power, so that she can deal with some other problem she has. This becomes even more clear when you pair this monologue with her voice line from the Illusive realm, which highlights her personal insecurity as a leader of the Black Shores. What this likely means is that Camellya's crazy antics across version 1.0 and her bravado in this trailer could all simply be a facade. This character is going to be a lot more than the Turbo Rover Glazer that many have been spreading rumors about on social media platforms. All of these expansions across storytelling and the motivations of different characters are, again, a direct response to many of the critiques Kuro Games has faced, especially in version 1.3. The overall reception to 1.3's story was mixed. A lot of players enjoyed the in-depth breakdown of Shorekeeper's background and character, but many were also unhappy with how much of an emphasis was placed on her character alone. She took center stage across every form of marketing, like the version splash art, the live-action cosplay during the livestream, and even the official figurine also released with the update, while also taking center stage in the version story as well. If you were a huge fan of Shorekeeper, you were winning, but that meant a lot of other amazing characters with unexplored backgrounds were left in the dust with 6 weeks of no new content. However, with the following version update in 1.4, Kuro's prominently marketing 6 different characters in the splash art of the patch. That is a lot more than 1 or 2, and the only hope that we can have as players is that they're not sacrificing quality for quantity when it comes to this implementation. Overall, this teaser told us a lot about what's coming in version 1.4, but the biggest discovery for players was something that we really knew all along. Kuro listens to player feedback, and they turn that listening into new features faster than almost any other developer in the industry. We know that they can make brilliant changes in just a single patch cycle. Let's just hope that whatever they're cooking up in version 1.4 is just as amazing as the rest of the menu. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Peace out.